And welcome, travelers, to another episode of Hitchhiker's Guide to Ethical Non-Monogamy. I am your host, Ike. I go by Hito in other circles. And I want to welcome you to episode 18 of this lovely podcast. Hopefully everyone's been doing all right. This is, again, it's going to be available on YouTube. Trying to do a little bit more as far as recording, streaming, doing all the different things. And just trying to get the message out there because there's a lot of people with a lot of bad information, especially when it comes to being open. And yes, I did air quotes. Sorry, podcast listeners, you didn't see that. But I feel like giving information to the peoples is very important. And if I know I'm going to give quality information, why not go ahead and put it out there by whatever means possible? Go ahead and also follow me at Hitchhiker's Guide to E&M on Instagram. But yeah, welcome back to another episode. Happy to have y'all. As far as what's been going on with me, not too much has been going on. Still on the job hunt. I did have an interview last Friday, so fingers crossed. Hopefully get that finish line to get a paycheck in so I can continue my shenanigans. But even without the shenanigans, I did have a good time last week also because I did a performance for this event called the Kink Box here in Austin. I was doing an impact performance with my anchor partner. We did the goddamn thing. People liked it. I did my motherfucking thing. She did her thing, looking amazing. But overall, great ass time. So happy that I was invited to do that by the CEO of Urban Play ATX herself. So definitely happy about that. Beyond that, job hunting, I need to start working on projects. I want to build a couple websites so I can have them available for people. I think that's what's holding me back is I don't have projects on my actual, I don't have a portfolio linking my projects, web developer stuff. So hopefully I can go ahead and get to work on that. But outside of that, just trying to live life, keep in touch with my friends, family, partners. And that's all there really is to as far as what's been going on with me. Yeah, that's all I got. I'm just trying to think like what else. It's been about 10 days. Am I late recording this a little bit? But ADHD, y'all know this by now. Forgive a brother. Oh yes, actually I did start like trying to stream more. Harry Potter has taken over my life. That Hogwarts Legacy, like man, that has really had a stranglehold on me because I love the Harry Potter books. Right now I don't like the woman because she's picking a fight that you have no business picking. Now I get it. There is like a lot of women that feel a type of way about trans women, feeling like it's like I guess a infiltration. I don't understand the full idea of what the beef is about, but I feel like this woman is rich and you're picking on people but like that also get picked on. Like it's not as if she's like being brave and fighting a giant. Like she's not fighting like the white male patriarchy. She's picking on trans women that is like an easy target. That's like, me picking on insects. Like of course there's a swath of people that are bothered by them. So I don't understand this woman who was poor and wrote a book about a little boy that was stuck in the closet hidden to then find out that he was something amazing. But I think art is irony or life imitates art. I forget what the saying is, but I'm having fun with my Hufflepuff self. Yeah, I wear black and yellow. I'm a proud Hufflepuff. I don't care what anyone's got to say. I'm having a great time with the game itself. Could it be better? Of course it can be better. But if they're going to make a game for PS4 and Xbox One, they're going to have to cut some things to downgrade it. So people are complaining about, oh, it doesn't have this. Oh, it doesn't do that. There's only so much you can do with the tech and not have it go completely over budget. See, now I'm rambling. Let me go ahead and get to the topic at hand because we're here to talk about non-monogamy and all the things that fall under that umbrella. And today, we're going to talk about something that I brought up earlier, 10 episodes. I'm on episode 18. Look at growth. But I'm going to talk about Relationship Anarchy. Now, why do I want to talk about Relationship Anarchy? So I'm in several group chats. And in one particular chat, someone was asking about relationship anarchy. Like, what's your experience? Like, what was the experience that others have with relationship anarchy? I explained what it meant, like what it is, what it's about. And the common answer I normally got is like, aren't all relationships supposed to be like that? Now, you would think so, but I'm human, you're human. We all know we have shortcomings when it comes to things, and trying to implement the core value of relationship anarchy into all that we do is very hard because we like simple, we like planned out, we like things that are pre-made. That's the reason why TV dinners have been raking in bank, because all you gotta do is do a quick heat up and you don't have to do all the prepping. So it's just how we are. I won't call it lazy. I will call it efficient. And that kind of got me thinking, because a lot of people keep thinking about all these different ideas of what relationship anarchy is. For some people, they think it's the disregard for all people and all relationships. For others, it's like a something like just people just make up so that way they can get away with whatever they want in a dynamic. But I think the reason why is, first off, the people that claim to practice it don't actually practice it because they don't actually know what it's about. They just hear it and they think what Hollywood like sold as what anarchy is, and they think, oh, I just get to do whatever the fuck I want and be a piece of shit human, and I can go ahead and get away with it because I'm a relationship anarchist, and they have to deal with it or get gone. No, that's not how all this works. Like, the term anarchy itself has been honestly wrongly used for everything. Like, the concept of anarchy is not chaos, it's not lack of control. The whole purpose of anarchy is that what is the current status quo does not work, and we are looking for alternative options that is not the status quo. That's really what it comes down to. So when you put anarchy in anything, like honestly, the whole defund the police movement, that is anarchy. The riots that happen, that's not anarchy. That's a riot. That's the reason why there's a word for it. It's called riot. So whenever we talk about relationship anarchy, we're not talking about chaos and detriment to others. We're talking about an alternative way of how we see relationships and how we go about it. Now, got two definitions here. One I did grab from the almighty Wikipedia, because Wikipedia is what we do for everything now. They're pretty much the if it's not Google, it's Wikipedia. Like, that's how we roll. Another is from this website called Mind Body Green. They have an article discussing what is relationship anarchy. These are things that I will be referencing in today's episode, because honestly, it was well thought out from the manifesto to misconception. So be sure that you check out the site. They have a lot of good things on there. This is not paid or promoted. I see good shit. I share good shit. That's how I roll. Now, with Wikipedia, the way they talk about relationship anarchy, their definition is according to the Wikipedia. Sorry, but the application of anarchist principles to intimate relationships. Its values include autonomy, anti-hierarchical practices, anti-normativity, and community interdependence. RA is the short form of relationship anarchy. It is explicitly they hit me with a big boy word. Anti-amatonormative. Anti-amatonormative? Oh, anti-amatonormative. Just roll with me. And anti-mononormative. And is commonly, but not always, non-monogamous. At least I got that last part right. Stuck the landing. All right, but essentially, it's not based on monogamy or autonomy. Ha! See, this is why. See, that's why we got. That's why we learn reading comprehension. All right, but yeah, it's not. So it's not either of those. Oh no, it is anti-autonomous and anti-monogamous, but it's not always non-monogamous. So just because someone identifies as a relationship anarchist, that doesn't mean they're inherently non-monogamous. Even when I tell people that, oh yeah, I'm non-monogamous, I typically practice relationship anarchy. That's not to say that, oh, I practice relationship anarchy, therefore I am non-monogamous. So it's not terms that you could just use one in and out. Like you have to make sure explicitly let it be known. Non-monogamous practicing relationship anarchy, monogamous practice relationship anarchy. Because the concept of relationship anarchy has nothing to do with the kind of romantic relationship or anything of that effect. It's essentially customizing your relationships per individual. You're working with that person. Hey, these are what my needs or wants, needs, wants, desires with you. There is no default of, oh, you're my boyfriend. Therefore, as a boyfriend, here are these predetermined roles that you have to do. No. Me, do I take the title of boyfriend? Yes. Because if that's what my partner needs, it's not skin off my back. We go ahead and talk about it. Okay, if that's what you need, that label to make sure you feel secure, XYZ, cool. Just understand that title does not mean by default I do A, B, C, D. We will discuss what A is, what B is, what C is, and what we do with each other or not with each other. But let me go ahead and go into the more little detailed nuance that mindbodygreen.com did. So they ask, what is relationship anarchy? Now, relationship anarchy is a way of approaching relationships that reject any rules and expectations others. Who froze right there? That's why I gotta make these prints bigger. Now, it's a way of approaching relationships that reject any rules and expectations other than the ones that involve people agree on. This approach encourages people to let their core value guides have the core values they have guide them in how they choose their partner, craft their relationships, commitments, rather than relying on societal norms to dictate what is right for you. Now, they got this definition from the Decker Winston, who is a relationship coach and co-host of this podcast, Multi-Amory. Be sure to check it out. Like, I gave this podcast a listen. And yes, I am a person that will, like, I'll go ahead and watch a podcast, listen to podcasts. I do my best to give credit if I heard it from somewhere. I'm not here trying to steal ideas, but I am trying to, like, mold my own information because it makes no sense for me to come here and give wrong information when I can get something right somewhere else. You know what I'm saying? And excuse my butchering of this paragraph, but I'll post a link for where I got this information in the description and the show notes. That way you can go ahead and read it for yourself in case you actually need to take some time to absorb what is being discussed. Now, to continue on what they got. So, people who practice relationship anarchy, sometimes abbreviated as RA, like I said earlier, are beholden to themselves and only themselves when it comes to choosing who they conduct sexual or romantic relationships with and how they do it. Relationship anarchists look to form relationships with people that are based entirely on needs, wants, and desires rather than socially mandated labels and expectations. Some center tenets of relationship anarchy are freedom, communication, and non hierarchy. Now, what that is saying there is the overall concept of relationship anarchy is it's about me, what I want, and what I can provide. That's really what it comes down to it. Because, yes, we overemphasize romantic and sexual relationships, but there are more relationships than that. You have your friendships, you have your coworkers, you have your family. There are multiple relationships that you can choose and craft so that way it works for you and others. So you have if it's not giving for both parties, then it's not gonna give. You go ahead and leave that alone and move on. And that's the thing, these bonds, because you only have so much bandwidth. I think I talked about bandwidth earlier, where just like with internet, there's only so much information that can be passed through those fiber optic cables, and once it hits too much, it will fail on you. And that's the reason why you have to be mindful of what you can handle, thus the being beholden unto themselves. It's not a matter of, oh man, I need to go get a girlfriend. Why do you need to go get a girlfriend? Because society says that's what you do. I personally live that way. Like I was going on dates, trying to find relationships without truly knowing what it is that I was really after. I just knew that find someone, fall in love, get married, house kids, and rinse and repeat. But at some point, I realized like that didn't make sense to me or worked for me because who am I doing? Why am I doing this for? Is it because society said that this is what you do? I ain't like that, so that's why I ended up on non-monogamy, polyamory, swinging. Like I did a dance and found a niche, so good for me. Now the last part here before they get into the manifesto is an RA mindset also seeks to dissolve the strict divides between platonic friendship and sexual romantic love that exist in a wider society. Practitioners of relationship anarchy see it as a superfluous, superfluous at best and harmful at worst to rank relationships in order to importance according to the presence of sex or romantic love. They reject the prioritization of romance above friendship and the elevation of monogamous couples above all else. And it seems like that the poem "On Leaving the Bachelor Brunch" by Rachel Westian was used in order to kind of include those other faculties about this whole concept of just getting rid of the idea of the hierarchy. Because I also kind of agree with the idea that I don't need to put people on different pedestals. Like all these people are important to me to different ways. I don't like the idea that that's the reason why whenever I talk about my partner, she is my destiny partner because we live in the same place. We split bills and things to that effect. That is what we agreed to do together. That's what was negotiated. That was talked about. And whenever I refer her to anyone else, I call her my anchor partner because no, that's essentially who I see every day with. That's kind of what was negotiated as far as what our dynamic will be. Like people talk about how can you be a relationship anarchist and married? Easy, because you discussed with someone. They were in like they want to get married at some point, and I'm okay with that concept of like, all right, yeah, if that's something that you're about, then yeah, for me and you, we can go ahead and do this. Like it was discussed. It was like it wasn't as if oh we're gonna get married right now. It's like it's left on there as that possibility when we were just kind of building the relationship of what we want it to be. Now, does this mean that if someone else now that someone asks, well, if someone else comes up and they want to get married, they're out of luck. I guess they just wait and hope that I don't marry the first person and we dissolve that agreement. Like it's like saying like, oh man, you had the last cannoli. Like, well, the cannoli's gone. Like, what I'm gonna do? Tell them like, oh, I'm gonna go ahead and leave this other person just to marry you? Like, no. It's a matter of needs and wants. If I can't provide that, I cannot provide that. I explained that I can't provide that for you. Now, to what levels they want me in their life after they learn that I cannot provide that, that's what we will discuss. If they need to just outright leave, then it's just one of those things where it's not the worst thing in the world to miss out on someone because you two are on different planes. Like, you don't have to force someone that's not for you to be for you. If they're for you, they are for you. If they are not, they are not. So that's kind of like essentially a definition of like what is relationship anarchy. My personal way I break it down is it's pretty much imagine you walk up to a restaurant. You're in a restaurant, and it's kind of like a smorgasbord of things. It's a charcuterie board. It's a coochie board, a shark coochie board, if you would say. No, sorry, that was just funny. Shark coochie. Now it's a board of like you have all these different elements that you are able to provide. So you bring your board. Here are all the things that you are able to provide. They bring their board. They got all the things that they're able to provide. You go ahead and make a plate of each other of what you can do. Oh, I need I'm a very affectionate person. I like cuddles and hugs and kisses. Oh, cool. We could do that. You move that over to the plate. That's going to be your dynamic. Oh, see, I'm not into BDSM. Okay, well, you don't have to be, so that's okay. Bam, that goes in the relationship board. Like, y'all don't do BDSM stuff. But, and then, that's how you essentially set up your dynamic and you go about it. The best part is, hey, you want to double back? It's like, you know what? I might be a little bit interested in that stuff. Cool. Put that on the board if it's available. Like that's just essentially how it works. It kind of keeps you from overgoing your bandwidth, being oversaturated in your dynamic. It also kind of helps with communication and discussion because most breakups happen either because y'all weren't meant for each other to begin with, y'all just forced it, or poor communication during your relationship. And this helps you continuously grow and learn and be open to all the things that may change or may not change. So that's kind of how I explain it to people. Now, like I said, someone came up with like, aren't all relationships that way? No, they're not. Otherwise, the relationship anarchy wouldn't have been a thing. Like most relationships is you date someone for a little bit, y'all are feeling each other, and y'all just like, okay, I guess we go together. And there's no discussion about what is provided, what is not provided, what we should like, what are you seeking. Like during your dates, you normally get general gist. You look on their profile, see what they're. You look on their socials and see what they talk about. General gist. There is no real sit down and talk it out about what kind of dynamic you want this relationship to be because society has given us the blueprint. Like, I'm not saying as if this is like faulty or wrong. Like, we're up to what 8 billion humans now, so clearly something's been going right. But is we are efficient. So, boyfriend, when someone says like, "Oh, that's my boyfriend," we already know the predetermined roster of all the things that's going on. Oh, like even the fact that we elevate the concept of husband and wife. Oh, that's my husband. Wow, that's more important than a boyfriend or a situationship. It's like it's automatically put on this highest pedestal. But that's because we're a religious bunch. We see marriage as something very sacred and top tier, and that's why, oh, husband, oh, see, if like, oh, your husband cheating on you, well, you got to thug it out. Oh, your boyfriend cheating on you, break up with that nigga. So that's the nature of how we live. So whenever I talk about relationship anarchy, they're like, aren't all relationships like that? No, because most relationships, it's really just about like, do we click? All right, let's just ride this out. Which it works for some, it doesn't work for others. You just keep it moving, honestly. Now, we're gonna go ahead and get into the Anarchy Manifesto. Someone like created back in '06. So it's not even like an old like the concept has been around God knows how long, essentially forever. But someone actually put it into words about what it gets to. Now, I'm gonna go into that and misconceptions that occur. But I need to go ahead and take a quick break, and I'll be right back.
Yeah.
All right, and we are back. Thanks for sticking with me throughout this ride. Now we're gonna go ahead and get into the Relationship Anarchy Manifesto. Now, this term relationship anarchy was originally coined by an Andy Nordgren. I promise you, I know how to read. I get these words. Now, this person published a structural manifesto for relationship anarchy in a pamphlet back in 2006. Like I said, not too old. We're what, like 17 years ago? So yeah, 17 years ago. And it outlined the following principles to guide you through a relationship anarchist life. Now, number one is that love is abundant and every relationship is unique. Now, something that polyamorous people normally say is, whenever they're kind of discussing their dynamic, is that love is an infinite resource. Like love, you create love, you generate love. So, like, it's not a limited resource. Like, you can love multiple people without it detracting from the love you feel for each one of them. Like, every relationship that you have is on entirely, like, it's a new creation between two or more people. This is an E&M podcast. And you should approach it as such. So the biggest thing that happens whenever it comes to love and multiple individuals, it's jealousy and envy. When you remember that love is in abundance, like you don't have to limit the love you feel for any person, you kind of like ease up on the whole jealousy portion because you recognize, like, oh, this person is for me. Like, we're together. I don't have to worry about anything. And if you're communicating well enough, you won't have to, because if a breakup is coming, you will know it's coming, especially if communications break down purposeful, even though y'all are great at communicating. So remember that. And the way I see it is like the same way like money. We made up money. We use money to we could print money. Like that doesn't dictate the value. Like love, like it's an abundance. Like there is no limit to how much love can be created or shared with any individual. Now, time is a different thing. Like time spent with one person versus time with another person. Okay, I can understand like a little friction that way. But again, talk things out, make plans. Y'all love each other. Y'all figure it out. Now, love and respect instead of entitlement. So, one of the main principles of a relationship anarchy is that you are not anyone's property, and no one is like you are not the property of others, and no one is the property of for you. So, you want to move in a relationship with the love and respect you have for one another, not the idea that by default that person owes you something. Because they owe you nothing. They are their own individual human beings. Because guess what will happen? Guess what? They could break up with you because it's a Tuesday and there's nothing you can do about it because they have that right to move on just because they want to. So, you just gotta make sure you move with love and respect for one another. Now, according to this thing, they said that your bond with someone does not give you the right to control or coerce them. They are an autonomous person who can act as they wish. Love is not a byword for bossing someone around, nor is love only real when we're willing to compromise parts of ourselves for others. Like I said, if you listen to this podcast and not even E&M, that right there is a word for you. You gotta recognize just cause of love should not be an excuse for you accepting abuse or doing something that you truly do not want to do. Because compromise is should be a willing effort. Compromise should not be an entitlement. Now, the next one is find your core set of relationship values. Focus on what you want and need when it comes to how you will treat and be treated by others. Don't be tempted to compromise on your inner values in order to try to keep a relationship that no longer serves you. I.e., if it is not given, it is not given. Leave it alone. You have to have an understanding of what you want as an individual for yourself, as well as what you can provide. You got to figure out what your values are. For me, I took like a 3 to 5 year hiatus from dating after a failed relationship where I kind of have to stop and think like, what am I aiming for? What's my end game? What am I doing? Cause I got tired of wasting people's time because again, I did not know I had ADHD. That also was an element of it. But still, I was tired of wasting people's time because I didn't know what I wanted. I didn't know what my values were. I just knew what romantic movies and relationships around me told me to do. So make sure you take some time to yourself. Figure out what it is that you want. Like I have a friend, truly asexual. They don't really feel a vibe of having any kind of like sexual relationship. That would be very detrimental in your traditional relationship status, even in polyamory, because people see sex as one of those things where it's like, hey, we're together, it's something that we should do. But if that's not your core value, that can be shared, that can be expressed, and y'all can work things out to figure out how y'all can work. Now, next, heterosexism is rampant and out there, but don't let fear lead you. Be mindful of the way in which heterosexism, the assumption that heterosexuality is the only correct, moral, and desirable way to organize relationships, can corrupt your ideas about what is acceptable within relationships. Stay aware of the assumptions you hold about what gender means with relation to love and work to untangle them. So, we all know this. On my IG, I posted where we had the most fashionable lady in full goth gear with a red top talking about how she's tired of people assuming that hetero dynamics is the default. Like, people can be non-monogamous, and that is also an option. It's kind of it's kind of because that is the dominant way that things go about. It's kind of like how you always say white and then people of color because the default, people keep trying to make the default as white and we're trying to break that idea. Same thing when it comes to these relationships. Like hetero, they try to push heterosexual relationships as like the default because honestly, religion. America, Puritan society. I mean, look, a Quaker. The man on the oatmeal box is the reason why circumcision is the default practice because he wanted to stop masturbation. I'm not lying. There are histories. Like, he wanted circumcision to stop boys from masturbating. I'm living proof that he failed. But, oh no, I'm circumcised. But the other thing, that ain't stop me. But, like, that's kind of why heterosexism is like seen as the default because Puritan society is one man, one woman, all the kids that you can carry. So, got to make sure and understand that because it's the default doesn't mean it's right. You got to find what works for you. You only have a limited time on this earth, and you're losing more time as things go along. So, I've honestly, personally, I was more fearful of not trying something different than to just be stuck in the status quo. And honestly, I'm happy for it. So, why not risk happiness? Go for it. Next, they have build for lovely and unexpected. Be spontaneous in your connections. Don't feel held back by the shoulds or the ought tos. So this might not work for planners and people that need things very organized. So this is something that I thrive in. I love me some chaos. I run not chaos in the sense that all shit goes to shit, but more like the spontaneous, the unexpected. Like I revel when in spontaneity because I love to adapt. I love to figure something else out. Figure out something else. And so I don't feel the need to walk into a situation where it's like, ooh, things should be this way. Now, do my anchor partner have some of the shoulditis? Yes, she does. Every now and again, she'd be like, oh, you should do things like that. And I'm like, no, I'm going to do things as I am. And I need you to recognize that this is me that you're talking to, not some created character. Like, I'm going to act in accordance to how I act. More and most times not, it's not even detrimental at all in regards to you should do this. Like I like to think I'm a decent person. It's not like it's like, hey, you should walk the dog. Well, I don't feel like it because that's me. No, nothing like that. But in situations like, hey, you should drop an encouraging word. It's like right now I don't have an encouraging word to drop, so it's like things like that. And so I don't live in the shoulds. I live as I am me, and you're getting the 100% me that I am. There's no shiz or atus. There's just is. Shout out to Yoda. Now, this is a real one. Fake it till you make it. We do this at the job. We do this at church. We do this at God knows anywhere. We will just go ahead and like, even if you, even if you're uncomfortable in exploring, just honestly revel in that discomfort. Now, over here, they're saying breaking with monogamous heterosexist relationship norms is hard work. Setting out to do the work can feel like a tall mountain to climb. Push through and go for it nonetheless until it feels like second nature. Now, when I say, now, I'm not on the side of saying fake it till you make it in the way where it's like, deceptive of those that you're dating. I think what that line was really trying to say is that understand it's kind of like more like an imposter syndrome situation because you're over here thinking, oh, this ain't for me, I don't know what's going on, why did I do this. I really think that line was more encompassing of imposter syndrome than, oh, I'm just gonna fake it and act like it, because we do have people that fake like they're non-monogamous until they find somebody and they want both parties to be monogamous. I ain't with that. I ain't with that foo-foo lame stuff. Now, next is trust is better. Choose to assume that your partners want the best for you. When we approach our relationships with a bedrock of trust, we do not engage in validation seeking behaviors that can drive unions apart. Now, I'm gonna snitch on my anchor partner because we're 3 years in now, so this was earlier on. You know, like, hey, when things are starting early, things will be rocky. But I'm gonna snitch on her because she be put through some mental strain, and I earned this right to speak truth. So one of the main things when we first started our relationship is I made sure, like, I was fortunate enough to learn from previous mistakes that I need to be upfront immediately. Non-monogamous, this is how the non-monogamy I envision looks like. What do you have issues with? And I think she still had some of that little monogamous bug where she was like, "Oh no, I'm fine with everything." Didn't understand that I was trying to build trust, trying to make sure that, hey, what worked for you actually worked for you. But my ignorant self just felt like, okay, she's cool with it. Now I don't blame myself because my job is not to pull your teeth to get the truth out of you. My job is to give you the truth, expect the truth, and then we go about it. Something happened within the realm of what I explained that I would do. Jealousy sneaked in. She didn't like it. And we had to, like, sit down and talk things through because I want her to understand, I'm with you. You know that, right? And you understand, like, these are. So I brought everything back out again, and she was like, "Oh, okay, just not that." Because as I explained in the "Don't Ask, Don't Tell" segment of the last episode, she went on that side of things. She didn't really want to discuss, like, what I may be up to or what I may be doing. But then a couple weeks later, okay, you can tell me a little bit because she didn't like the whole thing of not knowing anything. And it so yeah, I earned the right to snitch because you put me through the things where I'm over here like, yo, I'm trying to be a good man up front and honest, and you over here like want to just be cryptic and wait until we feel a thing as opposed to trying to, like, get that bedrock going. So get that bedrock, get that foundation, make sure that you trust each other. Now, you may have a partner that has some trauma from past relationship, which is why it's hard for them to trust. There are two ways to go about it. I prefer, if you believe it's worth it, be patient with them. Try to talk to them about going to therapy, go into couples therapy together. Like, if you really see something in that relationship, go to couples therapy, work things out, because it's gonna be for the better. That's honestly what's the, like, you're not with the person for kicks and giggles. You're with the person because you see something in them. You see something in you two together. So try to, get that trust, get that foundation built, because I mean, look, we got past the rough part where it's like, yo, are you gonna trust me or not? Because if you're not gonna trust me, then why are we here? That's my whole thing. Like, I want what's best for you. So whenever you say anything as if you expect me to do the worst to you, girl, go to therapy, people. Just know that you just don't let your old trauma be new trauma for your current partner. That's all I will say. All right, now next up, change through communication. Be in continuous dialogue with your partners. Little call with S in there. Do not rely on sensing what they think or feel. Communication must be enacted at every step along the way in order to establish how things will function, not just when they are a problem to be solved. Without communication, people fall into old norms and can inadvertently hurt each other. Now, this is why I always talk to everyone, and anytime I say it, communication is key for everything, especially in non-monogamous relationship, especially in Relationship Anarchy. Because again, remember that charcuterie board I was talking about where things are moved and shifted? Like, if you're not in communication, things will go stale and it'll be too late. Like, the constant relationship anarchy is not waiting until there's a problem to be solved. No, you're trying to constantly fix and adjust things. Anytime I have an issue, I bring it up immediately. Not because I love bringing up issues, but if I feel something is off, I'm going to ask you about it. And I expect and trust you to tell me when something's off. Now, to be fair, as we learn more and more things every day, not every human is neurotypical, talking the ADHD gentleman right here. So there may be certain limitations that your partner may have. Maybe they have a trauma response where they don't feel immediately available in order to communicate with you. Sometimes they need time to collect their thoughts. Sometimes you just need to go ahead and smoke some weed so they can discuss, like, actually, like, calm down and then face what's going on, because not everyone has a fight response whenever they're triggered. So you have to make sure you also work on figuring out each other's communication styles, how you prefer to be communicated with in certain instances. So it's just again, it goes back to establishing that dynamic. You want to make that dialogue open and continuous, so that way things can always be better. And if they're perfect, great, amazing. But things can always like be better, especially if you are keeping up with each other, because communication is not just simply, hey, how was work? No, communication is also, hey, how did this make you feel? Oh man, okay, this is how I'm interpreting it. Like, you want to make sure you're on the same accord. And lastly, in this manifesto, customize your commitments. Mm. Let me say it one more time, 'cause that's my favorite shit. Customize your commitments. Do you want to have children together, but never move in together? Do you want to get married, but never have children? Do you want to maintain separate homes, but be committed life partners? Whatever it is you want, you have the power to make it happen. You don't have to travel along the accepted relationship escalator of dating exclusively, moving in, getting married, and having children. Like I said, with that smorgasbord, with that charcuterie board, with that charcuterie board, y'all are free to make the dynamic whatever the hell you want it to be. You do not have to be limited to the concept that is preached to you in church or taught to you by your friends. Like, no, the beauty in this is you can make the dynamic whatever it is you want that works for you. It is not limited to the idea that, oh, I need to do X, Y, and Z in this box, otherwise is not what it is. Like, no. Right now, I have a partner. Are we going to have kids? That one is up in the air. Would I have kids with anyone outside of my partner? Yes, but I will be mindful of my finances and my situation to see if I'm able to kind of be a fully formed parent for any other partner. So no, we are not about to have no goddamn future / Nick Cannon situations. Nah, I ain't about to have that headache. But it's discussed and it's customized. Like I said, with my current anchor partner, marriage is on the table. Will we go through with it? To be determined. Like right now, maybe a year or two away from possibly seeking proposals and whatnot. So everything is customized. There's nothing written in stone. You're able to adapt and adjust. That's why I truly, relish in relationship anarchy. Now, common misconceptions. When people think of the word anarchy, they imagine a lawless and chaotic state of order. But contrary to common misconceptions, relationship anarchy is not a justification for people to do what they want in relationships without consideration of other people's feelings, needs, desires, or boundaries. As says by a person by the name of Dow, taking the jump into relationship anarchy is not for those who are looking for an easy way out. It's not a magic spell for reducing the amount of work that you need to put into your relationships. And this is cautioned by that Winston Dow. Like non-monogamous setup, relationship anarchy will not solve problems you have in your current relationship. So in her interview with the Autostrada, Josie Kern, who's a queer woman with a wife and a girlfriend, explains her approach to relationship anarchy like this. Okay, now, this is quoting her. To me, it means that my partner and I don't control our relationship with other people. We set boundaries, but we don't ask to enforce rules on each other. I find it much more meaningful to say, I'm choosing to do this because I care about you, and I know it will feel good to you, than say, I'm doing this because it obeys the rules. Which is honestly, that's just how I roll. Like, I will, every time I begin a relationship, I'll say it. I am not your property. You're not my property. The things I do is because I want to do them. Like, don't ever think that me coming to your show or going to whatever it is that you want me to go to, I'm not doing it out of obligation. I'm doing it because I want to do it. When I don't want to do it, I will tell you I do not want to do it, and thus I'm not going to do it. At bare minimum, I will avoid detrimental actions, though. Like, I'm not over here saying, nah, I'm not going to take it to the hospital. I don't feel like it. No, that's stupid. No. don't like. I hate when people try to do that type of shit in order to invalidate an argument. Like, no, don't go to those extremes. But if it's just a simple thing where it's like, hey, can you go run to the grocery store for me? I'm not gonna say yes because I have to do it. No, I'm gonna say yes because I want to do it. I got you. And and like this, like I said, in that like the first section, people do this all the time with opening relationships up, polyamory. They keep trying to say like, man, why cheat when we could be non-monogamous? Like, no, no, no. Cheating is the blatant disregard of an established boundary between you and your partner. That can happen that can happen in non-monogamy, that can happen in monogamy, that can happen with yourself. People cheat themselves every day. Oh man, I'm gonna go run this mile. Nope, nope. Not gonna go. I'm just gonna sit here. Like, you established that boundary for yourself and you're just not gonna do it. So same thing with relationship anarchy. Like, it's not gonna solve the fact that this person cheating on you with your best friend. That ain't gonna happen. That person ain't shit. Like, accept it. There is no fixing. There is no bringing a third woman in, another woman into the bed for a threesome. Like, no. Guess what he's gonna do? Hit her up behind your back because he's like, oh, I guess. I mean, if it's cool with you. So, no, these options are not here to circumvent a bad situation. That right there, you can take that to counseling. You can take that to therapy. Don't bring it over here. We already got a bad enough rep with people thinking that you just treat people badly and not care about them. So you keep that toxic stuff over there. But that's honestly, that is what relationship anarchy is. It's truly about being free to love, communication, and just working to understand one another. It's possible for one person to be relationship anarchist, the other person to not be. As long as they respect your boundaries of what was established, you will both be fine. And just don't forget, it really just comes down to communication. If you want to read further or reread this article, I got the link for mindbodygreen.com in the show notes. Be sure to check it out. And honestly, just explore for yourself. Just learn what may be for you. Like, the world is actually pretty large. I did say 8 billion people exist. Like, the world is pretty huge. So there might be something in it that maybe you're not really anarchist, but maybe you can go ahead and take a couple lessons from there and enrich yourself. All right, people. That's gonna be it for this episode. Appreciate you for joining me. You can find me on Instagram at Hitchhiker's Guide to E&M, on Twitter at Hitchhiking to E&M, and on YouTube, Hitchhiker's Guide to E&M, because I'm doing YouTube videos now, because why the heck not? But yeah, be sure to tune into my other podcast right now that's purely in audio form, which is Big Letter Little Letter Podcast with my host Jam, where we talk about BDSM, kinks, and all these other things. But all right, y'all. Until next time, make sure you look both ways before you cross these E&M streets, and I will catch you next time. Bye.